Eyebrows look like distant cousins. Oh my goodness. Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about my weight loss and health and fitness journey. This is something that I'm really passionate about, and it's one of my greatest achievements to have lost over 10 kilos in over a couple of years, learning how my body works and what works best for me, and I thought that I would share my tips and tricks and how I got there with you. So my heaviest weight was 71 kilos, and that was a couple of years ago, maybe like when I was 19. I'm 20 years old now, and I am 61 kilos, 60 to 61. I fluctuate depending if I'm on my period or I've eaten more or, you know, whatever. But that was my heaviest weight, and when I was in school I didn't really realize that that was quite heavy, and no one really said anything. No one was like, oh, you're overweight or anything like that. But when I went to a doctor and she was checking me for something else, she was like, oh, we'll just do like your weight and your height as well, just while we're here. And she looked at my weight and she was like, oh, do you know that you're a little bit overweight? And it was just so soul crushing for me, because I was like, oh, I'm not overweight. Like, no one thinks I'm not fat. But it wasn't about being fat, it was just that I was just a little bit overweight for my age category, and that's where it all kind of started. So she said to me that, you know, like work on it and, you know, eat some better food, like more whole foods and whatever. And I took that a lot differently. I thought that the way that I needed to lose this weight, because I thought, oh my goodness, I'm fat, like, you know, that's just the worst. And I started to just eat less, and you know, I would convince myself that I wasn't hungry, and if I wasn't hungry I'd be like, this is good, like this is so good, I'm gonna lose weight. And I did lose a little bit of weight, but it wasn't permanent. And I went back to the doctors and she said, you're not eating, are you? Like, you're eating still. And I was like, oh yeah. And I think that she knew that I wasn't telling her the whole truth, but she was like, okay. But that was such a temporary fix. And if you're going through that where you think that if you're by not eating that you're going to be losing weight and it's a temporary fix for a long-term goal. If your goal is to lose weight, I highly encourage you to find different ways to reach that goal. I know that not eating and binging and whatnot is such a sensitive topic, and I really want to be aware of that. So it was just a small part of my fitness journey, if you'd say, that I wasn't eating properly. And I quickly snapped out of it when I realized that I could reach my goal doing different things and implementing different strategies. So I started by doing, number one, I started doing intermittent fasting. I would eat all my food between the hours of 12 and 8. So that morning it's okay for your body to be hungry and for you to feel hungry, because you have to train your body that you won't always get to have food straight away, and you know, you have to let yourself be hungry, because that is actually a good thing, to be a little bit hungry. So I wouldn't necessarily like skip breakfast. I would have like coffee or like some lemon water or something like that. I would do some of my workouts fasted. So I would do, like, if I was going to do a morning workout, I would do like 11 o'clock till 12, and then I would come home and eat lunch. It would be like a salad, or like, but like a big salad. Like, it's not like a little, you know, I eat a salad. Like, it's you know, so in my salads I would have like sweet potato, lettuce, cucumber, capsicum, tomato, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of dressing, just everything. And I enjoyed that, and it worked for a while. Like, I think I was doing intermittent fasting like 3 days a week, definitely the weekends and like one weekday. So 3 or 4 days a week I was doing intermittent fasting, and that helped me to learn how to train fasted, like a different way of training as well, to, you know, help lose weight as well. Also, sorry if this light keeps changing. I'm filming in front of a window, so it's gonna go like bright, dark, light, dark. Sorry. So the key there is not to starve yourself, but to let yourself feel hungry and give in to that craving in the healthiest way. Like, eat whole foods when it is your first meal. And you can train fasted, it depends like kind of what you're doing, but if you even do like a cardio, like a walk fasted, like that's so good. I normally do that now on like weekdays before I go to work. Like, I do like a 3K walk with my dogs and my mum, and I do that, and then I come home and have breakfast. And you know, it's learning to run on the energy that you already have. Okay, so my tip number 2 is eating whole foods. I know that people get so caught up in the protein bars and like the protein balls and just like start complicating food, like it has to have like no carb, you know, like low sugar and high protein, and then they're like, oh, that must be good for me. But the best thing you can do is eat whole foods. If you are starting your fitness journey, go back to basics. It's not a bad thing. If you are eating grilled chicken with some sweet potato or like some avocado, like learn to enjoy whole food. Like stick to the outside of your grocery shop. Like, so you have like your dairy, vegetables and your meat and like your eggs and stuff like that. Like don't complicate it through all the aisles in the middle, because that's where things get a little bit messy. So for me now, I'll eat like sweet potato, zucchini, chicken or turkey. I'm really liking turkey at the moment, and I'll make it into like a spaghetti bolognese, or I'll just have it like just raw, like just as is, and that's fine for me. I tried meal prepping when I was in school, and I was like, oh, I'll eat like quinoa and brown rice and just like mashed potato, and it was just so wrong. There was just so many carbs and I was just bulking, and I was like, no wonder I'm not losing any weight. So most nights I'll have a warm lemon water before I go to bed. I don't really like tea. I wish I did. I don't. So I have a warm lemon water. I'll either have it at work or I'll have it just before I go to bed. And that is just promoting healthy skin, promoting weight loss, good source of vitamin C. I'm gonna have warm lemon water, have it through a straw, because if you have it straight, like just from like a mug or something, it's actually really bad for your teeth in the long run, so have it through a straw. So at the start, when I was like my heaviest, I didn't really know what my training style was. I would go to the gym and I would go around the machines, or I would do like a walk on the treadmill, and I was just going around and just doing certain little exercises, and I was like this is hard and I feel sore, but I'm not really seeing many results. And I was too scared to do like a really sweaty workout at the gym, because I was like, I'm gonna look disgusting and gross and people are gonna judge me. Don't worry about that. It's more about them than it does about you. So now I know my training style. I work best through circuits, and like when I do my legs, it's all like a leg circuit, and I'll do certain rounds and certain sets, and that's how I best work out, and that's how I saw results. Another thing that really helped me lose weight was giving into my cravings. Now, I know that sounds like a bit of a weird like twist. Why would you give into your cravings? But I give into my cravings in a healthy way. So I normally crave ice cream and chocolate, and it just sweet. I crave sweet, and it's the worst because it's so I can easily give into it. To avoid that, I started making my own healthy food. So I started making my own healthy ice cream, and it was so easy, and it tasted the exact same. It tasted better for me, and it was just doing me so much better. I would make like healthy protein bars and healthy protein balls, so it was there, and I was just, if I crave something sweet, I would just have a couple of protein balls, and they were a lot better for you than chocolate and ice cream. So another big thing that I don't think people even acknowledge enough is you need to start being proud of yourself. It's so important that you acknowledge the little wins that you have, and it's so easy to just look at other people and think, well, I'm training just as hard as her, but I don't have her glutes, or I don't have her legs, and that's what I want, and I want to look like that. Really, you're doing just as much work and you're getting results, but you're just not acknowledging it. And when I started like a couple of years ago, my mental health was just so bad that I thought, you know, I couldn't eat to lose weight. Like I'm disappointed in myself that I thought like that, but now I know that I would never want anybody else to feel how I felt, and I wanted to just show people that you can lose weight without not eating. I just think it's so important for me that if I have small changes, that I celebrate them, and I'm really proud of myself that I hold all my fat, like most of my fat I hold in like my lower legs. And when I first started, like there was quite a lot of cellulite, and I was just like so self-conscious of that and now my body is getting leaner and leaner, and I'm really cutting down on my cellulite. And not that it's a bad thing, but that was my goal. My goal was to cut down my cellulite, and so to do that, you can't spot reduce, so I had to reduce my whole body fat percentage to get it lower. And I have to look back on what I looked like before and look at myself now, and I'm like, I'm doing so much better. Like I wanted this. This is what the body that I've been working for. And it's not to compare yourself to other people. And I've even gone as far as unfollowing people on social media if they make me feel uncomfortable, or they're putting, you know, bad vibes. I'm getting bad vibes, or I feel like I have to start looking like them, or I just unfollow them, because you don't need that in your life. So another thing that I did when I was first starting to try and lose weight is I got an app that I could count my calories and my macros. And that was the worst thing that I ever could have done, because I started entering in all the food that I was eating, and I was honest about it. And then by lunchtime, it was like by the afternoon or whatever, I had filled it. I couldn't eat anymore according to this app. It was like, you filled all your rings, you know, you've had enough fats, enough carbs, enough proteins for the day, that's it. And I was like, but I still have to have dinner. Like, this can't be. And I even started lying about how much I was eating, and it was still too much, and I wasn't eating bad food. I started being really upset by it. I didn't have the mental strength to go, you don't need an app to tell you how much you can eat. I think it's really good that if you're trying to reach a really specific goal, you know how much calories or how many kilojoules you need to reach in a day. But fitness is not a number. Your body is not a number. You don't need to hit a certain percentage of fats and no more. Like, if you want to have a cookie, have a cookie. Like, honestly, you should have a balanced enough diet, and it shouldn't be restrictive that you can't enjoy everyday food. But I definitely think that getting that app and entering in how much I ate per day and how much percentage of things I was eating per day was just the worst thing for me. So I don't count calories, I don't count macros anymore. I just eat whole foods, and I just eat intuitively. So another big thing that I did that really was probably like the biggest thing for me was I cut refined sugar. And I'm not about cutting anything out of your diet or anything that you eat, but refined sugar and alcohol was something for me that was really holding me back, and I held it all in my gut, like my stomach. And once I cut that out, it just fell off. It was just so quick, because that's what was holding me back. It was just, my fat was in my lower legs and my gut. But once I started cutting out refined sugar from my coffees and putting sugar in smoothies, I know, I don't even want to talk about it, and ice cream and, you know, all that, I started just noticing a difference. And cutting alcohol, not completely, but I was going out every Friday and Saturday night. So now if it's a special occasion like Christmas or something like that, I'll enjoy a drink, like I'll just have a glass, but I never let it get to the fact that I'm drunk and I'm tripping over myself or anything like that. I don't want to tell you that, you know, oh, you could do it if you want. Like, if you want to reach a certain goal, you have to make sacrifices, and that was a sacrifice that I had to make. I no longer go out every Friday and Saturday night. I'm just enjoying a night in, or I'm at the gym, or I am with my friends, but I'm not doing that. And I'm enjoying life without that. And I think that's so important. But drinking excessively and then being hungover the next day is just so counterproductive. You're sleeping in till midday and you're exhausted, and it just does nothing for your mental or physical health. So I get a lot of questions in my DMs about proteins and supplements, and I will do a separate video about that. But at the moment I eat a balance of whey and vegan protein. So whey is a byproduct of milk, of dairy. Whey protein is a complete amino acid and is low in calories, but it's a byproduct of dairy. So you often hear a lot of people talking about weight loss, they cut dairy. So it's probably not the ideal sort of protein if you're wanting to lose weight. Maybe like a vegan protein, which is what I eat as well. So I have both. The vegan protein obviously has like the natural sweeteners, and it eliminates the need for that. It's not a complete amino acid, so it does a different sort of job for your muscles, but I will do a separate video on this. But for anyone who's lactose intolerant, vegan protein is the one for you. So another tip is meal prepping. And I know that when I started, I was awful at it. I was just not hitting like my healthy fats, which is so important. Like healthy fats like avocado, flaxseed, chia seeds, stuff like that, like they're so important. You need those in your diet. So now when I meal prep, I have a mixture of protein, carbs and fats, and they're all whole foods and they're the best thing for me. And I find that if I meal prep at the start of the week, I'm not binging on takeaway food. Everyone's goals are different, so everyone's meals are going to be so different, but meal prepping, I stand by 100%. I do it every week for my work because that's just how I hit my target, and I am the leanest and the healthiest that I've ever been. I'm currently 61 or like 60 kilos, and my heaviest being 71 kilos was just, I can't believe that I was ever that much. And it's such a shock to even, like, it's not about the scales or weight, because you should never like put yourself on a scale and go, I'm unhealthy and overweight, because like muscle weighs more than fat. And you know, a lot of like the girls that are quite fit, like they would be having a higher weight than someone else typically in their age range, but muscle weighs more than fat. So you should never jump on the scales and think that because of that number that you're unhealthy. It has no reflection of healthiness. Your goal should not be to look like somebody else. If your goal is to look like somebody else, what is your goal? Like, do you want to be leaner, or do you want to lose weight, or do you want to have a good like abs? Like, what is it that they have that you're after? And if it does anything for your mental health, unfollow them and work on yourself. And then when you are mentally strong and you're like, I'm just as beautiful and I'm just as strong, then follow them again. But if it's holding you back from reaching your goals and you're feeling insecure and it's doing nothing for you, unfollow them. But I just want to be open and transparent and just tell you that it's a long process. It's not just a short stint. Diets are just, can we just get rid of diets, because it's such a short fuse for a long-term goal. Like, at the end of the day, it's a lifestyle and you have to be able to upkeep that. And if you can't, and if you can only keep it up for like a short time period, then you're going to go back to your other ways. But you have to want it. And when I first started, I didn't want it as bad as I do now, because I'm seeing results and taking progress photos, and I know how daunting that is such a good thing as well, because you can look back and go, hang on, like this was my goal and I'm finally reaching it. But if you do have any other questions that I haven't covered in this video, please shoot me a message. I'm always up for a chat. And thank you so much for all of your support so far. I'm so glad that I can help people, and I just want people to just be happy and love the journey and love being healthy and just reach their goals in the healthiest way. So if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week. Bye.